Well, hello, my name's Todd. I am one of the tour guides here at Todd's Private Tours, and I want to walk you through a typical Grand Canyon tour from Phoenix. Typically, again, everything is flexible. When I talk about stuff like this on camera, I always like to remind myself, it isn't chiseled in stone, Todd. So anything that you want to change within reason to the itinerary, of course, you'll have that option. This is just kind of how the general tour kind of lays out, and you can kind of work it off of this. 7 a.m. is when we typically would like to get going. So we'll be at wherever you're staying, your place, your residence, your resort. We'll pick you up there so you don't have to go somewhere like you do in the group tours. And then we'll head out. We'll typically head up 17, and this is where there's choices involved. Some clients want to stop in Sedona. Not a problem. We can do that, no problem. And we're going to sneak you into some of the places to get those photos where the other tour companies can't really get to because their vehicles are usually too big. And we'll get you there and you'll have time to take those photos. My personal favorite is Chapel of the Holy Cross. And the reason I like it is that you can see all the major rock formations in Sedona, which of course are beautiful from there. And the church is interesting. So you can walk through the church and take some photos inside there. It's just really cool. Another popular stop is the Airport Road Overlook. The difference with that is there is a little bit of off-road hiking. Nothing too difficult. I would say just a tad below moderate difficulty, but you do have to kind of get off-road a little bit to get to the overlooks, where you don't have to do that at the Chapel of the Holy Cross. But they're both awesome. So once we finish up there, you get your photos, we'll head up Oak Creek Canyon. Oak Creek Canyon in itself is awesome. A lot of guests will comment, Todd, this reminds me of back east, or this reminds me of Michigan, or gosh, this reminds me of wherever they're from, if it's from a green state or a green country, because it's just unusual. The oak trees there, Oak Creek Canyon, of course, but the oak trees there, of course, have just really big leaves, green leaves, and it's just really cool to kind of travel through and up Oak Creek and see that during the spring and summer. Of course, in the fall, all those leaves are changing. It's awesome. And then the winter, because all the leaves are gone, you can see more of Oak Creek as you're traveling up, which is in itself really, really cool. We'll go up there. Of course, that gets us up onto the rim. We call it the rim, the high elevation area within the state. You'll see a lot of ponderosa pine there, just beautiful. And we'll get to the Grand Canyon around 12:30 if you go through Sedona. Now, we have a lot of clients who are like, Todd, I've seen Sedona before, or, we want to maximize our time at the Grand Canyon, and we'll bypass Sedona completely. We'll just get on the freeway. It's about getting to the Grand Canyon so you can maximize your time there. It will save you about an hour and a half not going through Sedona. So you'll be able to take that hour and a half and turn it into whatever you would like. We suggest you spend that time on don't even want to use the word trail, but it's called the Rim Trail, and it leaves one of the popular overlooks up there, Mather Point, and it literally follows the edge of the rim of the Grand Canyon all the way down to the main historic village. About 2.5 miles, so not super long. It's paved, so if you have issues with, gosh, I don't really want to be off-road in the dirt and stuff, it's really easy walking. And to top it all off, it's downhill, slightly downhill. It's great for strollers. If you're pushing something, it's just awesome. I've actually taken clients in wheelchairs. They've gotten out, got the client in the wheelchair, and they've pushed them down this trail. It's just awesome. Plus, you're spending all that time right on the rim. So, of course, you're stopping, you're taking just thousands of photos, potentially, there. And it ends at the El Tovar Hotel, which is in the old historic village, which is where we'll drop you off if you go through Sedona. So you kind of both routes kind of end at the same place. We'll give you some time there to either eat or to do some other stuff if you brought your lunch. And then we'll pick you up at a designated time, and it will vary a little bit. And then we'll head out to the more remote overlooks. In my opinion, the remote overlooks offer the best perspective of the Grand Canyon. It's awesome while you're hiking, or it's awesome while you're exploring the village after lunch if you go through Sedona. That is awesome. But I think it gets even better when you get out into these remote overlooks. So we'll head out to those, and then 4 p.m., and if there's anything rigid about this day, it's the departure time. and it really comes down to safety. We need to be start heading home about 4 p.m. because it's about 3.5 hours home from there, and that gets you home around 7:30, 8 o'clock. And our drivers, we're awesome. All my drivers / tour guides are awesome, but we're not superhuman. We are still human, and that's a long time on the road, and we want to make sure that you get home safely, and of course we want to make sure that our tour guides get home safely. So we really insist upon a 4 p.m. departure time. Now, Todd, what if I want to spend more time at the Grand Canyon? And what if I want to see the sunset? Or maybe I want a couple additional hours to hike down into the canyon and come back out. Not a problem, but I have to charge you for that, because I have to put a second driver in the vehicle. And there's a lot of things there. If you're in this SUV and you're maxing out the capacity of the SUV, then of course that's not going to work, because we need to put a second driver up front so that they can take over the responsibility halfway through the day. Does that make any sense? So you'll have to upgrade your vehicle to accommodate the extra driver, which is a little bit more money. I know I'm kind of beaten up on this idea. I've had many clients opt for this, by the way, because they want to maximize. Todd, I don't know, we're from Europe, we're from Asia, we're from wherever, and the odds of us getting back to the Grand Canyon again are nil. And so it's worth it to us to spend a little bit more money and to have that second driver there so that we can extend our time there. But I have to charge you for that. It's an additional $300. Think about the time and then break it down. That's not a lot of money that I'm paying. I don't take any of that. That all goes to the driver. It's just, that's what it costs me to put a second driver in the vehicle. So $300 on top of everything, the base fare, the entry fee. Of course, we'd like that, we'd prefer that you leave a tip. Hopefully you want to leave a tip because you had such an amazing time. So it's on top of all that. And of course you have to think about tipping that driver too. So it does add to the expense of the trip. But again, if it's a once in a lifetime thing and you really want to maximize your time there, we wanted to make sure at least we had an option for you to do that. Now please check out our online reviews. We have awesome clients. They've spent the additional time to do that for us. I know I like to read about other people's experiences before I make a decision, so check those out. We're just blessed that they would be willing to do that for us. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always call my office. They'll gather some information from you, and then I'll get that and I'll call you back. And we have a brand new online reservation system that is super slick. You just pick the date you want, the vehicle you want, the trip you want. It's done in 5 minutes, and you're on our schedule, locked in. And it just is a really quick way. So if you don't have any questions or anything urgent that can't be handled by email, then please use our online reservation system. I think you'll find it super handy. Well, there. Of course, if you do have any questions, of course, you can always call, and again, I will call you back. So I hope that this was informative. I hope I answered some of your questions. Of course, it's impossible to answer everybody's questions, so please feel free to shoot me an email and call our office. I think I already said that, didn't I? All right. Until your booking day, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.